For most homeowners, the backyard represents peace, comfort, and privacy. A quiet extension of the home where the noise of the outside world seems to fade. It is a place where families relax, where children play during warm afternoons, and where stepping outside feels safe and familiar. Many believe that once they close their back door, everything within the yard becomes part of their personal sanctuary, protected by routine and familiarity. Yet there is one structure quietly standing in many backyards that rarely receives much attention, especially after the sun disappears and darkness settles. Tucked away near fences or tree lines sits the simple garden shed, a small building filled with tools, lawn equipment, and items used only occasionally. At first glance, the shed appears harmless, but its thin walls and isolated placement make it the most vulnerable and mysterious structure on the property. Tonight on True Terror Files Official, we explore 3 chilling real-life encounters involving ordinary garden sheds where homeowners discovered disturbing dangers. Hidden in quiet corners. Story 1, The Shed Crawl Space. Our first story begins with Michael Turner, who lived in a quiet neighborhood where nothing unusual ever seemed to happen. One evening, shortly after sunset, Michael noticed a faint scratching sound coming from beneath the wooden structure as he walked to the back fence. Michael grabbed a flashlight and carefully walked toward the shed. The scratching noise sounded strangely deliberate, making him pause before kneeling down. Beneath the wooden boards was not empty space, but a carefully arranged area that looked disturbingly similar to a makeshift shelter. As he examined the area, he noticed a floorboard inside the shed had been partially cut away. Positioned directly beneath a workbench to observe the interior, Michael immediately called authorities. However, by the time investigators arrived and inspected the crawl space, the hidden occupant had already disappeared. Story 2, The Locked Iron Shed. Rebecca. Alison had recently installed a modern steel shed to store expensive landscaping equipment and gardening supplies. Moments after she stepped inside, the heavy metal door behind her suddenly slammed shut with an unexpectedly loud sound that echoed through the structure. When she reached for the handle, she discovered the latch would not move. Rebecca began knocking on the wall, calling for help. From the other side of the thin steel wall came a voice calmly calling her name, sounding almost identical to her brother's voice. After several quiet moments, the door suddenly clicked and opened. When Rebecca stepped outside, the entire backyard was completely empty. Story 3, The Buried Foundation. Daniel Brooks purchased a rural property where an old wooden shed stood beside a row of tall pine trees. Daniel noticed that tools placed neatly on the shelves sometimes appeared slightly moved. One morning he discovered piles of loose soil across the floor. After lifting several wooden panels, he discovered the structure had been built directly above a narrow hole in the ground leading to an underground tunnel. From hidden crawl spaces to unexplained voices and forgotten tunnels, the quiet corners of a backyard may hold more mysteries than expected. Remember to subscribe to True Terror Files Official. Sometimes the most disturbing mysteries are found quietly waiting just outside your back door.